ass P word. Wet ass P word.
I've never been a big fan of the MTV Video Music Awards. I find them boring. The only memorable event that I can recall is when Chris Novoselic from Nirvana threw his bass guitar in the air and he tried to catch it and knocked himself out. That was really funny. Apart from that and some girl-on-girl action, I don't find the VMAs very interesting. But I got a clip of Ben Shapiro reacting to them, and it's hilarious. It's rich with so much bullshit. It's like a compilation album of Ben Shapiro being wrong about all sorts of different stuff. And so we're going to react to it, and we're going to begin with Ben Shapiro reacting to Lizzo.
I don't know what music video for good means, but I do know what your vote means, and that's a lot. Your vote means everything to me. It means everything to making a change in this country. So remember, when you're voting for your favorite artist, vote to change some of these laws that are oppressing us.
She's so oppressed, guys. They're all oppressed. See? The queer youth, Lizzo, Dove Cameron. They're very oppressed. And the way to break through your oppression, of course, is to engage in as much sexual congress with as many human beings as humanly possible.
Actually, that's not what she said. She said to vote. Vote in the midterms. That's what she said. And you should, folks. Because people like Ben Shapiro are coming after your children. He wants to force your 10-year-old girls to make babies for him. He's already sent many of his followers to go harass and terrorize pediatricians over in Boston at the pediatric hospital in Boston. He's right. She's right. She should vote. And I think that that's what boring celebrities should do at award shows. They should tell people to vote. Because what else are we paying them for? I don't listen to her music. I heard a snippet of her music and it fucking bored me to tears. So I'm glad she's out there putting her fame to some kind of use. But what I find more interesting is that she said to vote, and all Ben heard was, "Let's fuck, nerd." I think Ben wants some of Lizzo's butt juice. Ben wants to bang Lizzo. If Lizzo's sitting there talking about voting, something anodyne, really, just something at least not sexual, and Ben is only hearing sexual things, that's because Ben's got sex in his mind. She didn't say anything about sexual congress, as Ben put it. She was talking about actual Congress. How do you confuse those things unless you want to lay in a bathtub filled with Lizzo's pussy juice and play with your boats? Ben wants to bang Lizzo.
Anybody, by the way, who suggests that this is not the case is obviously a brutal homophobe. So Billy Eichner also did a speech at the VMAs in which he attacked the quote-unquote homophobic Supreme Court. Because the way this works is that if the Supreme Court, which ruled in favor of gay marriage in 2015 in Obergefell, if the Supreme Court has people on it who say this is not actually a federal constitutional issue, nowhere in the Constitution does it say that you have a right for a man to marry a man.
It doesn't say anything about marriage in the Constitution, but since marriage is a legal right that people have, the 14th Amendment then applies automatically. The 14th Amendment says equal protection under the law. So as long as marriage is a legal right, gay marriage is a constitutional right. That's how, you want to ban marriage, well, then you would have to ban gay marriage. But as long as people are allowed to be married, then all consenting adults have a constitutional right to be married, equal protection under the law.
Because it literally does not say that.
Ben went to law school, by the way. I went to bartending school, but so you can say maybe he's stupid, maybe he's a liar. I don't know.
In the United States Constitution, the founders would have, when I say they would have spun in their graves at such a notion, I mean they would have spun so fast they would have dug a hole all the way through the core of the earth and come out the other side at this.
Nice joke, Ben. But I seem to recall you saying something much funnier.
Wet ass P word. Wet ass P word. Wet ass P word. Wet ass P word. Wet ass P word.
Anyways, I love the whole notion of the founding father. You know what the founding fathers would be doing if they were alive today? They'd be masturbating furiously. Once you showed them porn on a laptop, they disappear for like a year. You show Thomas Jefferson that he can get pornography on a cell phone, he's going to blow so many loads on that cell phone that Syria is going to start a Me Too campaign against him. Enough with what the founding fathers did. Founding fathers wrote the Ninth Amendment so that they didn't have to worry about what's going on in the future. They had no concern about the future.
Particular notion. But the Supreme Court, according to Billy Eichner, is homophobic for suggesting that the Constitution actually has words that mean things.
On September 30th, I have a movie coming out called Bros. Bros is making history as the first gay rom-com ever made by a major studio.
I would disagree. I would point to William Friedkin's Cruising from 1980. It is both romantic and hilarious. I can't recommend that movie enough if you're into gay rom-coms.
Here was he.
And the first where every role is played by an openly LGBTQ actor. And I need you all there in theaters on September 30th because we need to show all the homophobes like Clarence Thomas.
Listen, go see the movie. Hey, maybe they're doing like I saw a preview. It's got a feel of like an old school Judd Apatow movie. So maybe that's where they're going with it. If that's where they're going with it, it's a great idea. But honestly, you really should vote.
And all the homophobes on the Supreme Court, that we want gay love stories. And we support LGBTQ people.
Yes.
And we are not letting them drag us back into the last century. Because they are
I'm sorry, did you hear him moan? Did you just hear Ben moan in the background?
in the past. And Bros is the future.
Bros is the future, guys. Gay rom-coms, those are the future. That's what America stands on the pedestal of gay rom-coms. By the way, when
Award ceremonies are often just used as commercials for films. It's not unusual. I don't see what he's... I mean, if you're going to complain about that, you got a valid complaint, but I don't think that's what bothers... I don't think the crass commercialism is what bothers Ben.
Bros fails in theaters, it'll be amusing to watch as all these excuses are made for why it failed in theaters. I'm very much looking forward to it. So we'll see that.
Most movies are failing in theaters. It's called streaming. It's hard to compete with. It's a whole new system that we're working in. It's a new world, Ben. You can't... don't take a victory lap because some rando movie bombed at the box office.
We couldn't conclude our review of the VMAs, however, without a couple of more cultural influencers. So Nicki Minaj was the one album of the year for sampling a Rick James song and then using it to rap to, which is the way the true art is done, is you sample somebody else's art and you just then use it because you couldn't write a good hook line of your own or bass line.
That's not what she did. She didn't take Super Freak. That's what MC Hammer did. It's funny that it's not what Nicki Minaj did. It's funny that Ben Shapiro thinks that gender is biological, and yet he can't tell the difference between MC Hammer and Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj took the background keyboard beat. It's in the background, not the bass line, not the ding 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 ding. She took the part section, the back section, and then she threw a beat on it, and then she rapped over it. It's called reappropriating, and it's done in all forms of art. But for some weird reason, it's always a problem when rap does it. By the way, Ben didn't even know rap was music until like a year ago. That's not hyperbole. He literally believed that rap was not a form of music. Someone had to explain, many people had to explain to him, oh, no, it's music because it contains all of the elements of music, and also you buy it at music stores and other places where you buy music. People dance to it. It's music. But anyways, you know what I've been into lately? Well, let him make his
Baseline
argument
of your own.
first.
So you just grab somebody else's art and then you rap about your vagina over it. That is what Nicki Minaj has done with Super Freaky Girl, which is just her rapping in extraordinarily raunchy fashion about her sex life. Because that true art is that, guys. You used to think it was like Mozart, Brahms, Shakespeare. the crown jewels.
Yeah, Mozart actually stole from other composers. Art is the reappropriation of other sources. It's done all the time. It's done especially in the visual arts. But it's also done in film, it's done in music, it's done in poetry, it's done in literature in general, and it's done in music. It's done in rock music. The Doors, Bob Dylan, they've all done versions of some version of sampling, of reappropriation. And Mozart has also done it. I've been listening lately to a lot of old rap songs, and I've been tracing the, because the internet makes this easier to do than when I was a kid. I've been listening to a lot of the samples that come from that. I found a lot of really cool, like, jazz and R&B stuff from the 60s and 70s. I got Roy Ayers, Everybody Loves the Sunshine. I found that song. Baby Huey's Hard Times. I've discovered through a Ghostface Killer song. It's a lot of fun. What I find oftentimes is sometimes the original version is better. Sometimes it's a tie. The two songs are just different. Like, Public Enemy or Biggie is different than Isaac Hayes. It's not necessarily better or worse. But oftentimes the hip-hop song is the better version, because a lot of times it's like a producer had listened to an old song and then heard something new out of it that the original composer didn't hear. So the best example of this is Reminisce by Pete Rock and CL Smooth. A lot of people have heard this song. It's a classic song. They play it at open mics in between comics sometimes. It goes it's a 4 to 5 second snippet, and it's from some jazz guy named Tom. Some white hippie named Tom from the 60s. He's doing a free-form jazz solo. The whole song is a free-form. One piece of that went da-da-da-da-da, is 4 seconds long. Tom didn't hear it. He just did it, and it floated off into outer space. But Pete Rock heard it. A new set of ears heard it, took that snippet out, looped it, add a chorus, a verse, turned it into an actual, it's more of a song, real song, than the original is. It's much more of a real song. It has a structure. The last one didn't really have a structure, so it was more of a more pure expression, I suppose, would have been the original, but a more focused version would be the Pete Rock hip-hop version, which is why that's the song you hear. You don't hear the original anymore. You hear the new one. Ben doesn't understand these things because Ben doesn't understand art. Ben doesn't understand music. He's a nerd. There's a clip that you can watch of Ben Shapiro playing the violin badly. And the composer of his choice was not Mozart. It was John Williams. He's the guy that wrote the Star Wars theme. Ben Shapiro's cultural literacy begins and ends with the guy who wrote the theme to Superman. He's a nerd. He has no taste. He's never listened to Mozart. He's never read Shakespeare. Those are just names he's heard people say.
Western civilization, wrong. It is Nicki Minaj rapping about the vaginal pleasure that she receives during various modes of sex.
Someone's never heard of the Song of Solomon.
Over sampling somebody else's song, over essentially plagiarized material. And then concluding the VMAs with
That's not what plagiarism, Ben, is, Ben.
the message that I think most of America's youth needs to hear. Here it is.
Good night.
Wait. Is it this?
Wet ass P word. Wet ass P word. Wet ass P word.
I want you to pay attention to that and listen to this. Remember wet ass P word.
Everyone, stay super freaky. Have great vagina. I love ya.
Love you.
Stay super freaky. Have great vagina.
New meme, folks. You discovered it here on the ESG Endtimes support group show. I'm going to play it again, and I want someone, I'm going to put the link to this downstairs on the video, and I want someone to clip this for me. It is at, I don't know. 10:45. Oh, no, wait. Looks like 10:05 on this video. Please, someone clip this. This dude, well, maybe it's 10. Yeah, 10:05. I don't know, somewhere. It's toward the end of the video. The point is, Ben Shapiro just can't help it. He's a meme-making machine. He just sees a cell phone, and he just goes, "Is that a cell phone over there? Let me go look a little closer." And then it jumps onto his face, like that alien from that movie whose name I forget. Let's hear it again.
Stay super freaky, have great vagina. I love ya.
This is the old school Ben.
Wet ass P word. Wet ass P word.
Love
Wet
you.
ass P word. Wet ass.
Stay super freaky. Have great vagina. Never